Hello, welcome to Spotlight, a late summer blast of creative sun.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
This evening, more from Jackie Morrey-Grace, who, having just released her latest collection of poetry, is already talking about her next project. We head down south as Philly Gaughan chats to artist Juan Moore about his open studio in Castletown, a forthcoming art exhibition in Laxey which is all about fungi. And catch up with the incredible productivity of local singer making great waves across the water, as they say, Francesca May. Remember, do get in touch with any creative artistic endeavours you might be involved in, planning, hoping to create, or would really like to put in the spotlight. Poetic, visual, theatrical, musical, literary. Yeah, you know the list. Email spotlight@manxradio.com or straight to me, howardkane@manxradio.com. I'll read them both, I promise. But before any of the above, I'm delighted to tell you, I'm sure you all know of course, we have a new Manx bard. The wonderful and clearly delighted Laxey was appointed to the position of 9th Manx bard last weekend at a great ceremony held at Morehouse Farm in the south of the island. Laxey's work, Manannan's Revenge, or the Ballad of Camig, was very well received by the judges, we're told. She now takes over the bardic chair for the next year from Michael Manning, who did such a great job, and we oft heard, of course, on this programme. And I'm happy to say that Laxey is happy to continue in that tradition, performing a poem every month for us here on Spotlight. Congratulations to her. Watch this space. Now, we heard from Jackie Morrey-Grace last week, poet, musician, writer, the list goes on, about her latest collection of poetry, just released, entitled There Are Worse Places to Hide Than Inside Secrets. And whilst it's barely hit the shelves, Jackie told me she was already planning her next book.
And I've hit that blank wall of what am I going to draw for that. The idea behind that, like I said, I've always been I love visual art. Like, my husband's an artist, and I absolutely, it's like, I'm always fascinated by it. When I was growing up, my friends who are artists, I couldn't understand how they did it. It was a complete mystery. So I'm intrigued by it. I find it really hard, and things come in fits and starts, and they tend to suit projects, and then I kind of freak out and I can't do anymore. So yeah, the next book is called Sea Thief and Other Horrors. It's the 3 prose poems, and then there's my 5 penny poems, which are just longer poems I've written about another character called Penny Farthing. And that's all it is. And the idea was it was going to be like quite nicely illustrated with watercolours. And it will happen. It will happen, Howard.
It will. I have absolutely no doubt. Are you going to give us something from the current collection then?
I am. Can I also just say a little bit about the book and Without Wings?
Absolutely.
So basically, initially when I started compiling the book, I was going to dedicate it to Without Wings. I can't give a donation because it's Arts Council funded, but I can promote the charity whenever I'm talking about it. So that was a charity I founded in 2016, and we raise awareness of things like psoriatic and juvenile and rheumatoid arthritis, lupus and ankylosing spondylitis. We provide free counselling for people affected, and also other funding and a bit of patient advocacy, information, thingamajigs, things like that. So the book is dedicated to that cause, but I changed the whole concept, which initially was about movement, to really about just general about the writer in general, especially in 2023, as AI has come in and the whole persona of the writer has completely changed forever. So my book became, I thought, well, I added in all my 2023 poems. There weren't loads, to be honest, but I added them in, including at the back. I haven't added the poem, but I've added a QR code because my book is absolutely peppered with QR codes. Yeah, and that goes to like a videoed YouTube recording of me doing a poem called Drop the A, which is my take on what open source AI is actually doing to creative arts in general, and why we need to really still carry on promoting human art and valuing it. And how we're going to do it, I don't know.
No, it is an interesting topic, and you think it does get to the stage, bearing in mind AI is relatively, you think already people are worried about it and it's difficult to tell, and it's still pretty early stage as developing. You think, where will it be in 5, 10, 15 years' time with the speed of development? And I don't know is the short answer. And as you say, it's already, we've got stuff where it's difficult to tell whether something's written by a man or machine, or woman or machine, as the case may be. 10 years' time, where will we be? Who knows?
Yeah. And so what I wanted to include in my book, I thought, well, I'm going to include everything, because this is all, well, not everything. I started doing another book last night.
Yes, don't get... One at a time.
I know, I need to stop this. So, I need to focus on new projects, anyway. But what I talk about in it is about competitiveness. And it's about this fact that I'm a musician, right, first and foremost. It's what I trained in. I've got 2 postgrads in it. I did it for years and years. Health problems have made it difficult for me to do all the teaching and everything. And living on the Isle of Man, of course. But with musicianship, by and large, you're rooting for each other all the time. So if you've got a band, you want everybody to be absolutely, on top of the game. When it comes to poetry, I found the poetry scene really hard because people tend to be measured in terms of competitiveness. And I don't like that. Obviously, having a platform is amazing. If you win something, it gives you, you can publish books, you can do all kinds of things. But the reality is that each person, like you said, who got up at that slam had a story to tell. And they all told it well. And that what they're creating, it's so uniquely valuable to them. And so I really talk about in the book how it's important, maybe with AI, it's important that we start to actually value each other more as creative artists. It's not valued enough. It's very much product. And, people do see product over process. But when you do creative stuff, you are caught up in it's a very exciting process. And I am going to read it. Hang on.
Do it.
I know that we're massively running out of time here. Hang on. I say here that it is so crucial to personal and societal development, from creative thinking, playfulness and joy through to confidence and authenticity. Creative arts enrich us, unite us, liberate our minds, keep us mischievous and keep us free. We have a duty to protect this bounty. And I do believe that. I do believe it.
I think absolutely right. Absolutely right. Right. With creative minds, give us a poem. From the new collection, of course.
From the new collection. It's very topical.
Excellent. We like topical.
Okay, you have to guess what it's about. They're softened to a dew and they're huddled in masses, a rich purpley hue, spread eagled like jewels against raindrop intarsia sown webs, where hawthorns and rosehips ramble in intergalactic wandering ambles that end in a curious peeking of many fit to burst heads. Watch the brambles. Snare-like strips of straddlers cut their sniper stripes through razor blades of soaking grasses, shredding to threads those of the unsuspecting and thoroughly unprepared. Exposed ankles. Beware! Camouflage roots combine to undermine safe passage to the briar-clad harvest. Strategic trampling required to defeat an army of carpet-weed and pothole traps of sodden ground defences. Till you arrive, a butterfly tremors, and there just within your grasp they lie, the crushed velvet of the blackberry treasures.
Marvellous. That is topical, isn't it? Lovely. No, I like it. It reminds me I haven't been blackberrying this year yet.
I have.
I should get out.
Apple and blackberry pie last
night. My favourite. Listen, wonderful stuff as ever. Great to catch up. And I'm really liking that. It's very topical. I like that one a lot. Very nice. And the joys of blackberrying. And it's true, there's always little, pitfalls along the way. If you don't get covered in blackberry juice, you'll fall down something. People want to get hold of the collection. Where do they go?
Okay, so I'll put it on quirky.im. I haven't really had time to actually distribute it yet. It will be on quirky.im. I will ask Bridge Bookshop if they'll be very kind, as they have my other 2 books. So my website, I suppose, which is www.jackiemorrey-grace.weebly.com.
And if you want to read more like that, and lots not like that, but just as good, get yourself a copy of Jackie's latest collection. There are worse places to hide than inside secrets. And as well as via Jackie's website, they're available at quirky.im, the Bridge Bookshop, and again, jackiemorrey-grace.weebly.com. So easy.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
Now, when my colleague Philly Gaughan told me he'd been down south to chat to artist Juan Moore to see his new studio, and would I like to hear more? How could I refuse?
I've opened up an open studio in the square, a building in Castletown, that's been divided into kind of small businesses for about a year now. I moved in about 3 weeks ago with the mindset of mostly using it as a studio and maybe, a little bit of space to show work. And it's been fantastic. The public have been remarkable. I've been an artist in residence in places in the past, and sometimes it feels like every third person comes in just to tell you how much they hate your work. But that's not happened here. It's been really good. So plenty of tourists, and Castletown is such a different place now. Like, I grew up in Castletown. I'm from here originally, and I used to work in the co-op in the 90s, and it's a different place now. It's fantastic. I think they've made massive improvements.
Because of course we're recording this on a really nice sunny day. There's loads of people outside sitting in deck chairs, sitting at cafes, various tables and things. It's quite a cosmopolitan feel to the place, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and the busloads of tourists we get. You know, I've certainly never seen anything like it on the island this year. So I don't know who's responsible for it, but they're definitely doing something right.
And it must be good if it's attracted a famous artist such as yourself to come to Castletown.
I don't know about famous, but I've been threatening to do something in Castletown for a very, very long time, and the opportunity presented itself, and I just wish I'd done it sooner, really. You know, it's really great. I can work on paintings, commissions, things like that. Public come in, they see what I'm doing. I've got originals on the wall. I did have more originals on the wall, but kind of good, but kind of annoyingly, people keep buying them. So I can't really keep up with what's going on, which is what led me to do this kind of drawing exhibition, mostly to buy myself a little bit of time.
And of course, that's the reason that prompted me, at least, to come along. And you've got some rather interestingly named Vikings and drawings of same.
So yeah, everything I've ever done starts off with a drawing. You know, I think it's a massively useful skill for any creative to have, and I think it's vital. In my opinion, if you can't draw, you're in a bit of trouble in this industry. But yeah, so everything I do starts with a drawing, and I kind of ummed and ahed about doing something kind of, you know, with the number 100. I've done a lot of things. I've done 100 paintings, 100 drawings, 365 paintings before for projects, but I thought, no, let's do something good here, and something funny, because I'm aware that perhaps where I'm located, I'm not going to get kind of your typical art gallery crowd in, and I've always been a great believer that art should be accessible to everyone. So I kind of think if I can create a piece of art or an image that somebody can have a chuckle at, I think art's taken way too seriously. So the idea was that I found 100 Norse names, and then with each name I gave them a silly title, like Vigo the Not So Great with Swords, or Vlad the Sickly, things like that, you know. And I'd just create a humorous little illustration that somebody will look at the illustration, read the title, and hopefully get a little chuckle out of it.
In terms of the exhibition then, how do people come down here? I mean, is it on? How long is it on? Where do they come to? All of those sorts of obvious things that you might want people to know to get them here.
Yeah, so I'm here in the Square building. The show opens on Sunday at 11 o'clock. It is an affordable art sale because I feel guilty because I haven't done a show on the island since 2016. So yeah, it's been a while. I've done stuff elsewhere and a lot of illustration stuff, just haven't done anything on the island. So I feel like I owe my art buyers something. So each drawing is only £35. They'll be presented on the wall. If somebody wants to buy one, they just come tell me. I stick a red dot on it, and the show's up for the entirety of September. And then once it's over, whoever's bought stuff can just come collect the work then.
Well, that's great. And in terms of your work generally, I mean, are there things like websites and things like that people can look at, or is it best for them just to come down here and have a chat? I'm a very social person. I like talking. You know, I'm more than happy to be interrupted from whatever very important painting work I'm doing to have a chat. But, you know, if people would prefer, they can catch me on social media. If they just go on Facebook, I think it's Juan Moore Art, same on Instagram. And I do have a website. You know, if you just Google my name, you'll find it. But yeah, mostly, yeah, just come down and have a chat.
So why don't you do that? Drop in, have a chat. As you can tell, he's a friendly sort. He'd be delighted to see you. Now, staying with visual art, but at the other end of the island, well, Laxey anyway, the lovely Loom Gallery there. And whilst I was there recently chatting to creator Julia Ashby-Smythe, she told me about a new open art exhibition coming up in the next couple of months on a fave subject of mine.
Last year when we came down and had a chat, we had the wonderful, I think it was Insectomania.
Insectomania,
yeah,
yes.
That was brilliant. And the clue was in the name there, really. Insects everywhere for the theme for the whole art exhibition. So there's another one coming along, and we did mention it, or you mentioned it off the back of last year, saying, oh, we've already got sort of next year's theme, which is?
Fungi. Fungi, moss, lichen, liverworts, moulds, yeasts, smuts, mildews, and humices, anything that's fungi and belongs neither in the animal world or the plant world, all those wonderful, gorgeous, weird things.
I'm loving it already now. I haven't even seen anything yet. But so what's this? This is open to what? To anyone or?
Open to anybody. It's free to enter, and the details to how to enter are either on Facebook, or you can email me at julia@laxeywoolenmills.com, or there's the information and the submission forms in the gallery at the moment. And you can create anything related to fungi and the other things that I mentioned, in any medium, in any form, any size, and if it preferably you could see it on the Isle of Man, but because I can imagine that there's going to be some magical, fantastical things coming, you might need some magical, fantastical mushrooms to help you with that, but who knows. And so I imagine again that there's going to be a whole diverse array of different mediums and subject matter within that very wide-ranging fungi and et al. Subject matter. And hopefully it ties in with the National Fungi Day, which I think is 7th of October.
I should know that, but you're right, somewhere on there.
Yeah, and the inaugural National Moss Day, which I think is the 20th.
Who would have known? National Moss Day.
A Moss Day, my favourite, which I think is the 21st of October. And then, of course, it also spans over all those spooky, nice, gooey, Halloween-y type, hop-tune, mushroomy type things.
It is perfect sort of theme for the time of year. Open to all, as you say, and if it's anything like last year, it'll be a gem, because there was such a range of interpretations of the theme, and like you say, there were everything from the kids through to some of the best-known artists on the island, a real mix.
Yeah, that's the joy of having an open exhibition. You have people who have never exhibited before and people who are world-renowned, who just want to get their teeth into something a little bit different. And that's what makes it fun and really enjoyable to see all those different styles.
I'm looking forward to this one already. Get yourself down now and catch the Creative Network now for the next few weeks. Wonderful and a great display there. Closing date for the fungi exhibition for the entries going in?
Handing in dates are Saturday the 16th of September, Wednesday the 20th of September, and the Saturday the 23rd of September.
And then the exhibition itself, which obviously will be a fair amount of work, I assume, to get it all up.
I'm hoping that it'll be open on the 7th of October.
Oh, that's a quick turnaround then.
I might not sleep.
A reminder again of those hand-in dates: 16th, 20th, 23rd of September if you're putting art in. The exhibition, for non-artists like me, opens on the 7th of October, hopefully. Can't wait. Before I go, a little bit of music. Francesca May, a prolific island-based singer, songwriter whose work widely heard not just here on the island but on the Beeb across the UK. Well, she was on Christie's Late Lounge recently, singing and talking about her work, and singing live in the studio, I should say. Christie asked her about her latest singles, which have been apparently coming out apace.
I've had them lined up for a while. We've only recently recorded them, but I did write them a good few months ago, so I've been waiting to get them out. So just trying to get them all out.
And you've got the perfect companion here, because you've got Andrew, who of course is your kind of studio producer, kind of engineer, writes with you as well. You do all sorts, Andrew, don't you?
Yeah, well, that's what makes it a bit easier for you, because we can just write and record in the same day, basically. So I suppose that's probably helped towards the output.
And you do all this kind of in your own sort of home studio setting, don't you?
Yeah, we've got a little space up in Bluff, so fairly recent, but it's going well, and we've got everything we need there in terms of instruments, so we can do it all ourselves, which is what happened for the latest song. But,
I love the fact you're putting out so much new music. And your music's doing very well off Ireland as well, isn't it? As Andrew mentioned, it's being picked up by BBC Introducing. You seem to be across a whole number of different stations now.
Yeah, it's great. So Dave Monk's at BBC Merseyside, he's actually played the new one twice, which doesn't happen very often. And Emma Linton in BBC Cumbria is playing Missing You Tonight. She's given me some support in the past as well, which is great.
Do you get feedback then from people off Ireland when they've heard it?
I do sometimes get a couple of messages, a couple of new followers here and there from people that have heard it. Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, I'm so glad. It's exactly what we need. And there seems to be a lot of that going on with the fantastic music from the island, isn't there, at the moment? There's a lot of artists who are kind of breaking through and getting a lot of international recognition now, which is great. It must feel lovely to be a kind of part of that now.
It is. I love it.
Oh, I'm so pleased. Well, listen, you're going to play for us live and just tell us what we're going to hear and give us a little bit of info about it before you actually sing it for us.
So this is called Venus. It's a proper soppy love song and it's going to be on the upcoming EP.
So excited. It's this first time we're going to hear this. That's very cool.
It is, yes.
With Andrew on guitar and Francesca May singing live. Take it away, guys.
Misty eyes in the morning, coloured in blue. Maybe I should have told you what I always knew. Show me the way to your heart, 'cause God, I don't know where to start. Tell me your secrets, drown out the world. Let me be your Venus, love in one word. Show me the way to your heart, 'cause I wanna know where to start. Everything's changed, but I still feel the way that I did. Nothing's the same, but I still look at you like a kid. I travel so far just to get where you are, and without you there's nowhere to go. Ask me a question, open your eyes. Tell me you love me, I'll paint you the sky. Lend me a piece of your heart. Let's take it back to the start. Everything's changed, but I still feel the way that I did. Nothing's the same, but I still look at you like a kid. I travel so far just to get where you are, and without you there's nowhere to go. Let me be your Venus, a love in one word.
Well, that was gorgeous. I'm going to do the one person clapping thing.
I'll add to the clapping. That's at least two of us now. Great stuff. Check her out. One suspects she is going to go far. That's about it for this week. Don't forget, if you want to hear anything, go to manxradio.com and download the Spotlight podcast. Listen where and when you want. Why not try it whilst cooking a nice risotto with a chilled glass of Chablis? See you next week when we'll hear all about this year's Festival of Choirs. Until then, look after yourselves and whatever you're doing, be creative about it. Cheerio.